Hi everyone. So earlier this summer I had redone a kitchen I want to show you, and our son Kenny and Sophie got married in April, and it's their house, and the house they moved into had a really dark, kind of depressing looking kitchen, and it's just amazing what paint can do. And I know I've had videos like this before, but I feel like each one is a little bit different, and hopefully it's a motivation to you guys if you have a depressing, maybe orangish oak kitchen or just a dark kitchen, and you can totally repaint cabinets and they can last for years. So I'll go ahead and give you a tour of what the house looked like before anything was done, and then I'll give you an after at the end of the video. So the main part of the house here was built in the late 1800s, which I think is so cool. I of course love old houses. I like the higher ceilings and the wide trim, and this house has some of that. They did build on some sections as the years went on, so not everything is, that old, but it still has a lot of character. So again, the things that got changed in here were the flooring in the living room and the bedroom. The kitchen had been changed at one point, so Kenny and Sophie thought they'd just keep it that way for now. So as you can see, the kitchen is in need of an update, and paint will be the perfect thing to do with it. And the bathroom floor, Sophie actually ended up painting that, and you're going to see that in the final video, but she did a really good job with that. So John helped me remove all of the doors, and I was able to remove the drawer fronts, which is awesome. You don't have to take the whole drawer with you, get it painted. So removed all the doors and drawer fronts, removed the hardware, took them home and painted them. So basically what I'm doing here is just cleaning the doors really well with Mrs. Meyer's soap and water. And then after that's dry, I'm going to use crud cutter on the top side, especially, where most of the wear and tear is, and apply that. And that really does a good job of, dulling up the surface. And some of you might be wondering, why isn't she using sandpaper, sanding the door down a bit. But I think I've mentioned this before on my channel when I'm doing projects like this, but I have learned over the years, sometimes when you sand and you sand too much, get down to the bare wood, it actually releases some stains that come out, or after you apply the paint, that kind of makes or causes some stains to come out. So I've learned it's actually better to just leave the old finish on here and just try to dull it up a bit, and then maybe work on a good top coat to try to keep your paint to, stay put. I'm pretty excited to use my sprayer. I know this winter when I was in Florida being treated for my Lyme disease and was feeling so awful, I just thought to myself, I can't wait to do this again, just be out here on my driveway spray painting. So today will be a fun day for me, definitely. I've talked about this before, but the sprayer I have, I'll have the link down below in the description box. It's one that I've had for a number of years now, and I use it a lot, so it's lasted for quite a while. and I think I paid around $100 for it. And to get my paint to the right consistency, I always thin it down with water. And people will often ask, what consistency, and I play around with it, but anymore I'm so used to, how thick I need it to be, or thin rather, that I pretty much know, how much water to add. But I would say it's kind of like a little thinner than buttermilk maybe, but almost like a buttermilk consistency, maybe even more like a heavy whipping cream. I know it seems weird to compare, food to paint, but I guess that way you have an idea if you're wondering. Even though I'm using a water-based paint, it's not as strong as an oil-based paint would be. It doesn't smell as much of, chemicals. And I do sometimes wear a mask or a respirator when I use this, especially if I'm painting, inside a cabinet or somewhere where the paint, comes back out at me. But today I think it's perfect weather. Like, I can kind of see which direction the paint spray, like overspray, will be going, and kind of stand away from that. It's just so much more comfortable. I definitely will be wearing one if I feel that I'm breathing it in. I can usually avoid that if I, station myself accordingly while painting. I'm painting the inside of the doors first. So the color they chose for the kitchen is Swiss Almond, and I believe it's a Do It Best brand color. I know it's super bright out here, but I wanted to show you guys what sometimes happens when you're repainting cupboards that have been, stained before. Don't panic when this happens, and hopefully you can kind of see here with the brightness. But as you can see, some of the paint isn't really being absorbed into the stain or onto the surface. Again, don't panic when this happens. Normally you can just apply another coat or two and it will take care of things. And if it doesn't, which I had a stubborn door on the other side over here a bit ago that I ended up lightly sanding over it. But usually with another 1 or 2 coats of paint, that too will be evened out and absorbed. Here is a door that's going to be a stubborn one. As you can see, the line is pretty prominent there. And here's one as well. But I'm fairly confident that I can get things covered up. Otherwise, I think they're looking really pretty. Here's a piece that is completely finished. So pretty. And again, with the bright sunshine, it's probably kind of hard to tell. But the final coat will be Annie Sloan Clear Wax. I'm a big believer in that wax. I've used it before for kitchens, and they have really been holding out well. I feel like it really protects your surface, and it even repels moisture. For the frame part of the cabinets, I am using a brush and a small roller to apply the paint with, and then I'll be applying a clear wax to the top as well. Kenny and Sophie are pretty much settled into their house. It's really nice and cozy. They're still working on some things, like Sophie wants to add some decorations. I don't think everything's, completely finished yet, but it is a really pretty home and they enjoy it there. I do think painting the cabinets really made a difference in the kitchen. Sophie found this door in a garage sale, I believe, and she refinished it. It turned out so beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite things in this house. John ended up resizing the door jamb so that the door would fit, but it's definitely worth it. It looks so beautiful. I love how it looks with the painted floor. So hopefully this video was inspiring to you, maybe to redo your kitchen. Maybe you live in an older home with a dark kitchen and you don't want to spend a lot of money to get a different look. Paint will do it. Before ending here, I have some candles I want to show you guys. The fall candles are here and it smells so good beside me here. I have a new scent that I'm so excited about. I don't know, have any of you ever had a grape candle? You probably hear Pebbles purring more than my voice here. But this year, that's what I have for my kind of specialty candle. I've never heard of burning a grape candle, but it's honestly one of my favorite scents. I love it. And it comes in this pretty purple jar with a beautiful texture. And there's also a wooden lid that goes with it. And I used my UV printer to print this image onto the lid. I think they turned out beautiful. And again, I wish I could get the smell to you. They smell so good. I love the smell of grapes, and it's often what I think about when I think, late summer, early fall. It's kind of the grape season here in Ohio, and it just smells exactly like grapes, I think. And then for our regular line of candles, we have basically some of the same ones we've had for the past couple years, including the autumn leaves, the mulled cider, spiced pumpkin chai, and then we have a new one that is cranberry crumble that also smells so good. In fact, all of these just smell wonderful. I'm never really ready for the fall season, but smelling these candles kind of almost puts me there, to be honest. I'm also really excited about our little fall candle collection, and in case you want to try out any of these 4 scents, they are available in these cute little containers, and the same 4 scents are in here in small 2-ounce containers, the perfect size to maybe give away as gifts or just burn for yourself and see if you like them, and then maybe invest in a larger size if it's something, you know, one of these that you really like. So I'm keeping it pretty simple this year for the fall season, just the 4 scents and then these sample packs. This is kind of our main line here of fall candles. And then I have a few specialty ones. The Great One is one of them, and then I have one more that is going to be called Cozy Sweater. I'm not sure will I actually have it in time when this video goes live, but I'll try to show you guys later on. It'll come in a pretty frosted amber jar with a wooden lid and a pretty design on top, engraved on top. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. But for now, we have these wonderful scents here, 5 different ones. And if you're interested, head on over to my website, check them out. So as always, I hope your day is going great. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.